I'd like to share some of the information and statistics I gathered during the research for Hitler's brothel. Some of the information is harrowing and some of it is just plain incomprehensible. There were 457 concentration camps in Poland, for instance, and their main targets were the Jews, dissidents, gypsies, homosexuals, and what the Germans deemed as social undesirables, the mentally and physically handicapped. There were 6 main death camps, and Auschwitz-Birkenau was the largest, and it's estimated that between 1.1 and 1.5 million people were murdered there, including 232,000 children. Over 90% of those murdered were Jewish. There were 13 brothels throughout the camp system, and they were there as incentives mainly for the capos and Sonderkommandos. They were the people that worked in the gas chambers and the crematoriums. Nobody knows how many people worked in the brothels, but it's said to be in the thousands. Of course, the women were promised better lives, but many of them were put to death by the Germans because they were exhausted or diseased. Also, great numbers of them were said to have enforced sterilization and abortions. No Jewish women were allowed to work in the brothels, and no Jewish men were allowed to visit them. Not enough is really known about the women sex workers and the misery and horror of their occupation. It's only in recent years that their stories have come to light. Only 7,000 prisoners were found alive when Auschwitz was liberated in January 1945. Interestingly, the concentration camp had 8,400 staff. It was virtually a town in itself, with a cinema, sporting facilities, restaurants, cafes, and a variety of clubs and associations for the German workers. Again, a very interesting statistic is that out of the 8,400 staff at Auschwitz-Birkenau, only 673 were tried for war crimes. Perhaps to put the whole thing into perspective, more people died in Auschwitz-Birkenau than all the British and American civilians and servicemen and women combined. It's absolutely staggering. Many of the people who actually survived the camps died with guilt. They felt sometimes ashamed. They wondered whether it was luck that they actually survived, or was it their strength or stamina, or simply their fate and their destiny. Hitler's brothel is about the strength and resilience of one woman who survives life in a camp brothel. Years later, she's given the opportunity to take revenge on one of the most notorious SS guards. When you turn the last page of Hitler's brothel, you will find that you'll be asking yourself what you would have done if you had been in Anya's position. I asked myself, and it surprised me. I hope you enjoyed the read, and I hope it makes you think.